Got a tripod to look at today that was sent in via Sunwayfoto. This particular model is one of two in a new series of ultra compact ones that they have. The 2650CE is the 5-section one, and you can see there they have the 4-section as well. Just to show you what's included with the bundle, there's a lens cleaning cloth with the company logo on it, and we have a set of 4 hex keys. This is the 3/8 to 1/4 inch adapter. The tripod comes in a felt travel bag, and it's actually quite nice quality. It's quite thick material, doesn't feel flimsy in any way. And you've the drawstring at the top to close it off. As this is an ultra compact tripod, you probably wouldn't want a bulky case with it, so this does the job quite well. This is a very small tripod in terms of the footprint when it is reversed around. And it's also very light, quite a bit lighter than some of the travel tripods I have looked at. And you'll notice when it's reversed around that the legs sit just below the head, and we've got a very compact head on this as well. Quite a nice design touch is that the head has one area that's shaped out for the size of the foot. As with many travel tripods, it's reversed around with the legs folded up to get the smallest height. Just pull the legs out, and then you can use the column knob or adjuster there just to release that. And it is also spring loaded, so you can turn it around to different angles if you want to. We'll take a quick look at the head, and this is again very small in size. They're obviously trying to keep the weight down as much as possible. The main black knob on the left hand side, that is for the clamp adjustment. This is the plate that they have included, and it's the DP26R. Would have liked a bit of rubber on the top there just to give a bit more grip when you're attaching it to a camera. You'll also notice that because of the design that there's no sort of anti-slip off feature with that particular plate because it's such a small plate. As it's Arca compatible, you can of course use other plates, and most of those do have that feature. One of the keys does fit the top part there, so you can actually take that off and change it if you wanted to. The silver knob on the outside, that controls the rotation of the top part of the ball head. That does have some dampening as well, so it doesn't just freely rotate around. As expected, the main knob controls the ball joint, and that also has a spring-loaded mechanism, so you can twist it, turn it around as you wish. The next control, with quite a few on this head, is the smaller silver knob, and that controls the rotation. So there's two ways to control that on this particular head. We do have the markings there for the angles. Could be useful for a panoramic function. You can certainly save a fair amount of weight with the ball head on these tripods because they tend to be one of the heavier components. I do like the compact design on this, and it also makes quite a useful ball head for a monopod possibly. They've obviously gone for the larger thread with this so that you can use the adapter if you want to make the size smaller. And on the top of the column you can see they've got the rubber pads which will give a bit more grip once you've screwed the head down. It's nice to have an option to be able to put a different head on there if you wanted to. This is a 2-section center column which I'll show you shortly. At the base you'll see we have a hook that's spring loaded, and you can unscrew that. This part is also metal. There's no plastic on this tripod anywhere at all, to be honest. And you'll also note that there is an O-ring there as well, which helps keep the water out. And there's also an O-ring at the top of the column, so when you push that down it gives a bit of padding there, it doesn't just sort of smack down. Quite a good design on the center column because you can shorten that down to around about 45mm, just the top part which is aluminium and the bottom part is carbon. They've also included a couple of 1/4 inch threads on either side, so you have 2 of those for other items you might want to screw in, such as microphones or lights. There's a semi-automatic system for the legs, pretty similar to many other tripods, which is spring loaded, so you just lift that up and then you can adjust the leg angles in 3 different positions. There's a twist lock method on the legs, and it's a bit different to many tripods. I have used one of these before from a different manufacturer. So if you twist it to the left, it unlocks the different sections and you can feel those Each one of them has a distinctive lock position that you can feel when you've unlocked it. Then you turn it to the right to lock it off fully. There's a couple of pros and cons to this system. The first obvious advantage is it's very fast to deploy this tripod. The downside is if you want to, for example, use just a couple of sections released, then you're going to have to sort of push it back and then twist them off. It's a bit longer and slower to do that. But it's a reasonable compromise considering the type of tripod that they're going for. There's only really a minor amount of flex there, and bearing in mind that the ground is quite wet, it's pretty stable really with 2 or 3 kilograms weight on it. Quality is very good overall in terms of the finishing. Obviously most of the tripod is carbon, including the legs. This isn't my first choice for a tripod with a heavy load. It's really designed for sort of a standard type setup. This is designed for someone who really doesn't want to take a tripod with them and keep the weight and size down as much as possible. It's also a good alternative to a tabletop tripod, and typically the problem with those tripods is that you can't extend them up to a high height. It's also significantly more affordable in some of the travel tripods that I've looked at. Could also be a good choice for you if you're looking to use it with a phone or a tablet. It's an interesting model. I think I do prefer this over the other ones that I've looked at purely because it really is small and light. Would be nice to change that top plate for something which has a bit of rubber on it, but overall I think they've done a nice job on this particular tripod.